Hi, my name is Laura Walton, and I am the Assistant Director of Advising at Georgia Highlands College and the co-chair of orientation. Pre-pandemic, GHC was planning to move to pre-registering students prior to orientation. Coming off campus just before our summer orientation season began prompted us to implement this practice sooner than expected, but it gave us an opportunity to learn what worked and what didn't work across the last year. We started off rocky, but after lots of trial and error and a great webmaster, how we capture and use students' preferences for courses is streamlined and efficient. A student monitors their acceptance and their check admission status online. Once they're admitted to GHC, they are then prompted to complete what we call their pre-orientation. So let's talk about the pre-orientation. First, to log into the pre-orientation, students first retrieve their single sign-on login information, which we instruct them how to do. This helped solve one of our longest issues of students not knowing their student account login information. Once they have this, they're able to access their pre-orientation. In the pre-orientation, students learn what it's like to be a GHC student, introducing them to many things like student clubs, athletics, advising, financial aid, and their student accounts. At the end of the pre-orientation, they are then prompted to answer a series of scheduling questions. Let's go through these scheduling questions next. GHC is a multi-site institution. So we have 5 locations across North Georgia, as well as a large online presence. Not all classes are offered at each location. So first, we have to find out which campus a student would like to attend if they're not going to be online. Then, what if we're not able to get the campus depending on the season of registration or their availability? So we have to also find out their second preference as far as location at GHC. Next, we need to see their time availability, or if they're online. We realized we could obviously see their major that they need or any transfer credits, but we also realized it didn't necessarily accurately represent what their true major is when they're actually in classes. For example, general studies is our 3rd most common major. So this tells us students either don't know what they want to major in yet, or they don't know the importance of this being accurate. So because of this, instead of asking them their major, we ask what they intend to do with their major. Here is where we found out that general studies major actually wants to be an engineer, or the biology major or the chemistry major actually wants to be a nurse. So this pre-questionnaire continues on and asks more things like how confident they are in their major, if there's anything else we need to know for scheduling, what their ideal setting is, and even if they'd like for us to reach out to their parent to give them more information about GHC, and financial aid questions. So then what do we do with this information, or where does this information go? Well, first, we had it loaded into a SharePoint, which we quickly realized we were collecting way too much data for SharePoint to be able to handle the magnitude. So with the partnership of our webmaster, we created a brand new pre-orientation dashboard. This dashboard is a website that our advisors have access to. As a student completes their pre-orientation questionnaire, it is automatically uploaded to the dashboard. You can organize it by orientation date, season, like fall term, spring term, summer. You can even narrow it down to if they're registered for classes or not for that specific term. So here's how we manage the workflow. First, we work one orientation date at a time. Second, we usually divide the number of students by how many advisors are actually working on that orientation. Then the advisor goes in and they're able to claim that student's schedule. So they enter their name in next to that student, basically saying, once they have claimed them, they are responsible for registering them, sending them the email, and marking them complete on our dashboard. I'll talk a little bit more about that email in just a second, but we do register all of these students before their live orientation date. So this email that we send students once they're registered for classes has their next steps for their orientation process, and it also has a note from the advisor. These notes include things like, hey, I was able to find 2 classes in Cartersville that worked during your preferred times, but I had to get that 3rd class online. Please come see us in the virtual hub, which I'll talk about later, if you want to make any changes, and welcome to GHC. This is a web-generated email which goes to their student email. All we have to do when we go in to send this email is put in their school email and our note, and it automatically sends it to them. It makes this process so much quicker than what we were doing in the past. So we work through each orientation as needed. Now, this can get overwhelming, especially when we have our fall semester registration going on. When we get overwhelmed, we go in and call the troops. The troops are the academic deans, chairs, and faculty advising specialists. With this more of manpower that we have working on registration, we're able to get through hundreds of students within hours. One of the other pieces to this process is financial aid involvement. On our dashboard, financial aid representatives can go into each orientation and monitor the orientation lists, and then they send students correspondence on what's needed to complete their FAFSA, or if we even have a FAFSA on file. This is so helpful because when they come back and talk to their advisor, we're able to go in and say, hey, it looks like a financial aid counselor sent a message to you. They send every messages if there's any outstanding documentation that they need to turn in. Make sure you follow up on that signature that they need, or make sure you follow up on submitting your FAFSA. So once all of our students are registered for classes, we then go in and use Navigate to send them a text. We say, you're registered for fall semester. Please go in and check your student email for more information. Then during orientation, we talk to students about how you are already registered with a preliminary schedule. But we explain to them that if they want to make any changes, that they certainly can do so, but that we do want to have a live dialogue with them where we can talk to them about what changes they want to make and how we can help them make those changes. And we do this through our virtual hub. So what is the virtual hub? The virtual hub was created out of necessity during the pandemic. We needed a place for students to reach student services like advising, admissions, financial aid, and enrollment management virtually. We thought it was a good idea starting slowly, so we started just with orientation students, but on that first day, we had 18 students in the first hour. So we quickly expanded our hours and services. Now we average about 2,000 students a month. Here's how the virtual hub is designed. A student accesses the Zoom link in their student portal. They're greeted by a host that troubleshoots their question. Then the host notifies a GHC representative through our instant messaging platform, Jabber, to let them know a student needs to see them. The student is then moved into the breakout room where the GHC representative is able to screen share and help solve the student's question. As of today, we don't see the virtual hub going anywhere. So I'd like to share a few things that we've learned through this process. Number one, it's really important to have a strong relationship with your webmaster. We could have never accomplished this without them. Having students log in to their student accounts early helps overall in their educational journey. Number three, we are capturing a lot of data, like which campus students want to take classes on, when they want to take them, and then what their backup campus is as well. We should be able to use this when creating schedules for future terms. Number four, the information that students share before classes start is so much more raw for why they're in class right now or why they're going to school than after they've actually started classes. We take this information that they put on this pre-orientation form and upload it into Navigate so that their advisor, once they have their advising appointment, is able to go and see what brought them in the beginning and then help re-energize them to reach that goal. Number five, we feel this has been a much warmer entrance into college for our students than what we were doing in the past, which was chaotic in a course selection room with as many people as we can get to help teach students how to look up classes and register. So far on our orientation evaluations, we're doing pretty good. This is a successful change at GHC, but we do hope we can continue to make improvements through this process over the next several semesters. Thank you so much for listening, and please reach out if you have any questions.